anyway, which is
Microphone.
that, I mean, first of all, I've been super inspired by all of this stuff today. It's great. I think, you know, these guys have put together an amazing salon, and I want to start off by just, you know, giving a big thanks to Doug and Christina and everyone at Flux for making this thing happen. You know, it's the whole Congress of the Collectives has been super inspiring to me. I mean, I'm on the board of Flux Factory, and I'm always inspired by what they're doing, but I feel like the Congress of the Collectives has been particularly amazing in just bringing so many people together from so many different disciplines and really making all of this, making it a really exciting couple weeks. I know the amazing amount of work that went into it, and so I think we should give these guys a big round of applause for that. And you know, I think, I mean, Flux Factory really does embody kind of the values of tactical urbanism in terms of just you know, getting out there and making stuff happen and really engaging people, engaging in the community, and so it makes sense that it's here. It's all very relevant. What I'm going to do here is there's two projects which I'm going to present, and the first one I'm really it's really just a teaser. It's I've been working for a while on some ideas about what could happen with this neighborhood, with the Dutch Kills neighborhood that Flux is in. When we found this building, was it 3 years ago? We you know, we kind of fell in love with this crazy building. We you know, we were calling it the John Malkovich building when we first got here, because there were so many half floors that we would like get lost. We'd be like, are we on the second floor? Well, no, there's the first one there. It was like, you know, just this really, that was already completely Fluxy. And so we just fell in love with the building. And then increasingly fell in love with the neighborhood, which is also completely Fluxy in its absolutely bizarre hodgepodge of mixed use taken to like a level of absurdity. I mean, you know, you've got an auto repair shop next to the church, next to, you know, a right. 2-story house, and then, I mean, it's just, but in looking at that, you know, I really started feeling like, but there's really something here. There's really some amazing potential here. It's latent potential, but it is there. And so in thinking about that, we started developing some ideas, and you know, which all kind of revolved around mixed use and how can a neighborhood like this evolve not into a gallery district or an arts district or a new hip Williamsburg area. How could it sort of evolve into something, an alternative to that? How could it address some of the issues that the city has in terms of industrial retention? You know, jobs, not high-end jobs, regular jobs. How could it continue to provide affordable space for artists? How could it continue to provide affordable space for places like Flux Factory? And so in playing around with those ideas, now how do I advance this? One of the, I mean, I'm starting actually at the end of this process, which is bringing Interborough into the process. I had been developing some ideas about this creative commercial district, and you'll see from these images that it's a very Flux-inspired project. All the illustrations were done by Fluxers. A lot of the work, the text and the ideas were developed with people involved with Flux Factory, and they were admittedly those of laymen, not professional designers or planners, but you get the gist of it. This is this wonderful little Dutch Kills area here, which is kind of in the shadow of the more developed parts of Long Island City and sits kind of in between Astoria, and but it's surrounded by all kinds of interesting cultural things, and has great transportation, and is, you know, actually a wonderfully convenient, great place. which has started to evolve. And you know, you're starting to see some sort of fancy development on the south side of the Queensboro Plaza, and what we're interested in is what's going to happen on this side. So we've been talking about that and looking at to what extent Flux Factory can be sort of a hub and a sort of pilot for that sort of development, for a different kind of development. And that led to, you know, when I read about Interborough's proposal for PS1, they had been on my radar before, but when I read about their idea about developing these, you know, things that they would then give to the rest of the neighborhood, I knew this was the firm that we had to be working with for this, and so I immediately called Dan up and said, or sent him an email and said, you absolutely have to work on this project, and he agreed, which was wonderful. And so they have come up now with this concept called Some City, which I'm really not going to go into detail on. The core idea is that development does not have to be a zero-sum gain. One person's gain does not have to be another person's loss, and it's really an idea of radical mixed use, and how can you make that happen in a way that is alternative to models that we've seen in the past. So then jumping from there back into the tactical urbanism world, in the meantime, a group called 72 Hour Urban Action came to Flux Factory and came to me, having done a really fascinating project last year in a town outside of Tel Aviv called Bat Yam in Israel, which is a 72-hour urban action is a 3-day real-time architecture competition where 10 teams of 10 people each are each assigned a site of public space and given the assignment to design and build a response to the challenge of that site. And so they came to Ken actually, and she put together a group to explore they wanted to bring it to New York, and how could they do it, where could they do it. I, absolutely insisted that they could only do it in Long Island City. It was the only place that it was possible. They wouldn't let them do it anywhere else. No one else would want it, and it wouldn't work anywhere else. And so they had to do it here. They reluctantly agreed because they didn't have any other choice, and the rest was history. We had a wonderful workshop during the Design Week, the Urban Design Week a couple weeks ago, which was run by Brendan's here from the Institute for Urban Design. They put together a wonderful week of urban design, and we put together a workshop for 72-hour urban action, which was just a great. Okay, I'll page through these, but there's a video that is what we're really going to show. And I think that's on. We'll show that again. Okay. That's the really inspiring part, though. So these are all images from the event in Bat Yam. So the plan is that we're bringing this here to Long Island City next fall, 2012, and where it connects with the first project that I was presenting and with Interborough is actually what I think is very relevant to this whole day, which is it's where I think tactical urbanism can go, sort of the bigger picture, longer term for tactical urbanism is when it starts connecting with more traditional and formal planning and development, and we have every intention of incorporating a great deal of tactical urbanism into this Some City plan, and one of the central ones will be 72-hour urban action. The idea with 72-hour urban action as part of that project is that as we're working on the plan for Some City, we will be identifying the potential sites for the 72-hour urban action, and in turn, the 72-hour urban action then will give us, real-time, instant, implementation of a lot of the ideas that we can come up with in Some City. So that's the gist of Some City and 72-hour urban action. And what I'm going to do now is hit the video, and we can just play that. And it's not very long. I think it's only like 5 minutes. But anyway, it's great and super inspiring. So that was the workshop. And it's What's that?
I don't think that.
It's on it's the first one.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the,
It's not coming up.
it's not.
When we break, we'll screen it.
Okay, I'm telling you, that's gonna be your big show.